Good afternoon and welcome. It's my great pleasure this afternoon to welcome Duncan Smith. Duncan is the founder and general manager of Novelist. He is a distinguished alumnus of SILS and is really a pioneer in entrepreneurship. And many of our students have looked to him for mentorship as they've launched their own startups or companies. And so, Duncan, thanks so much for being here today. Let's start with just briefly describe the work that you do.
Well, thank you, Gary. It's really great to be here with you again. And one of the things that I'm currently doing, because a little while ago, the nature of my work changed. Another SILS graduate has taken over running Novelist now, Danielle Baraski. I'm very happy about that. She's the new VP for Novelist. And EBSCO has asked me to become their sort of chief strategist for public libraries. And so what does that really mean? What it means for me is that my job is to help our company, EBSCO Information Services, create products and services that help public libraries be successful. That's what I'm doing these days, is working to help figure out how public libraries can be successful.
Fantastic. Clear mission statement. Yeah, you must come from the private sector.
No, I come from SILS, Gary. I come from SILS.
Yeah. Thank you for that. So how does technology affect the work that gets done in public libraries and knowledge work in general?
Well, I think, one of the things that really has happened here is that we know ebooks have become more a component of what the public library delivers these days. I'm remembering one of my favorite professors at SILS all those years ago, Lester Ashheim, used to talk about the library as a communications agency in its community. And so as technologies have changed, the way that public libraries create and deliver services has changed. And so this sort of balance between print and our traditional roles, as well as looking at how learning is changing and how people learn, online courses, short courses, all of that are kinds of implications for what public libraries do. For many people in this country, the public library is their connection to the internet. And so in that way, the role of the public library as a hub to connect people to the larger internet and the megaverse, all of that is important. And maker spaces and those technologies are being integrated into public library services as well.
Great, thank you. How's COVID sort of influenced work practices in your experience?
Well, so one of the things that COVID did is because we had to shut our doors, we had to face the reality that for many, many years that the public library as a physical space and a physical experience was the primary way that most people interacted or connected to their library. And when those doors closed, we had to figure out new ways to deliver service, new ways to interact, new ways to be connected, and so that whole milieu changed and shifted. And I think now, of course, what we're in is sort of this transition of, are we going to go back to the way things were? Probably not. Are they going to stay the same as they are? Probably not. And so there was there's still a lot of change. And one of the things I want to say about SILS graduates and the rest of our colleagues in this profession is that in the face of COVID, public libraries especially, thought about how they could help and what did they need to do to add value to their communities. And so things like, curbside service, things like, talk about how an event changes the way you think about technology. Prior to COVID, I suspect not many libraries would have thought about delivering story time over Zoom.
Right. Yeah.
And now, people stepped up and did that. And now the question becomes is what have we learned and what needs to stick as a result of that innovation, right? And so that's just part of the deal here.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very interesting. Thank you. So what advice would you give to SIL students today and in the near future that'll help prepare them for, professional practice in this rapidly changing kind of environment that we're in?
Well, Gary, you sort of opened our conversations by identifying me as an entrepreneur, and I appreciate that. But I want to say something to the people who are sitting in Manning Hall right now, or not sitting in Manning Hall, but connecting to Manning Hall through Zoom. I want to say something about a definition of entrepreneurship or being an entrepreneur that I've learned over the last couple of years, and that definition is an entrepreneur is someone who solves problems for others.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's a true definition of entrepreneur, then there is not a librarian or a library staff person that I know who is not an entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what we do every day, is we solve problems for others. Whether that's what's a good book to read, how do I find meaningful work, how do I deal with this health issue, how do I pursue this interest in poetry or needlework, or how do I build a deck? All of those are things that matter and that are critically important. And so what I would say to my current colleagues and my future colleagues is just live into that.
Mm-hmm.
Realize that who you are and what you're about, to get back to that mission statement, we're about using our knowledge and expertise and our hearts to solve problems for others.
Wow. Well said, and great advice. Duncan, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you around Manning Hall sometime soon.
I'm looking forward to being back there, Gary. You take care now. Thanks.